Blessings, everyone. Today, I would like to offer a Spirit of the Animal Oracle. This morning, Spirit was encouraging me to connect with snake energy. That is snake medicine. And that is the shedding of the old because the new year is coming in. Releasing all that doesn't serve, regenerating, rejuvenating, revitalizing. And sometimes it doesn't mean that we have to completely revamp everything in our life. It's just making room within sometimes for the energy, the new energy. Whether we are planning something large like a move, or we are trying to get a hold of our health, improve our health. Even if we're working on relationships with ourselves, with spirit, or those around us. They told me today that snake medicine helps to make that room. It reminds us, because the snake sheds the skin, also the way the snake moves. All of these beautiful animal totems, animal medicine, spirit animals, bring us such glorious messages. So I'm very honored and grateful to be able to bring this oracle message today. First, I would like to say thank you to Source for allowing me to be a medium of light. And I ask all of the animals and insects, all creatures in the spirit, in the seen and unseen worlds, to please step forward to bring a message for our collective highest good. Thank you. I'm grateful. Now, as always, I just like to shuffle. I do 3 times. Source, higher self, spirit, and then soul. And now I'm just going to move the cards, and immediately this one has moved. Butterfly, rebirth. You can reinvent yourself. Open to the rewards of change. You have a brilliance to share with the world. Love every part of your journey. And butterfly is a very, very special medicine for me. This is my animal totem. I have tattoos, as you could see. This is the monarch. These are the morpho butterflies. And that has been with me, the butterfly medicine, my whole life. And it has helped me to embrace change. But with the snake medicine, when they said reinvent, this is an exciting opportunity. I know a lot of us sometimes, they're saying, are unsure, because change, we like to know, is it a good change? Is it a surprise change that we're not ready for? But this butterfly medicine brings the opportunity of change, that we can reinvent the way that we process this. And the ancestors are stepping forward, and they're saying that yes, life is change. The only sure thing we know, as cliche as it always sounds, is birth. And when we release the flesh to go into the fullness of spirit, or some call this death, a physical death. But everything in between is an opportunity. It's exploring, it's expanding, it's expressing, it's experience. And our ancestors and butterfly medicine come to us to reassure us that change isn't something that we have to get ready for. if we are open to change and we trust the process of this, that we know that along with some of the sudden changes, maybe we find ourselves having to move very fast, or maybe change in our health. They're reminding me of when I had my spinal cord injury, that I was in a wheelchair for a little while, and that was a scary change. But as time went on, they're reminding me that it built my character. I allowed the transformation because it taught me what I was worth to myself. And what I put in to my healing is what I was going to get out of it. And there wasn't an easy road to that. But the end of that, the transformation, is worth it. Sometimes a change, we're ready for a change, and it's something like we need a new hairdo. And we're not afraid of that. Maybe we go back and forth and we're looking at different styles and so on and so forth. And then we settle on something and we just sit in the chair and go for it, because we know that hair grows back. So yes, maybe if it's a change that we're nervous and it looks fantastic, then yay. But if we step into the change and maybe it wasn't what we expected, we tell ourselves, well, it's hair, it'll grow back. I'll be inventive until it does. But the point is that this whole lifetime is a practice of that, of transformation. It's teaching us to build up to the biggest transformation, is when we're no longer in the physical. But they don't want us to be afraid of the sudden change. Love every part of your journey. Rebirth, reinvent. That's what I was saying in the beginning of the video when I was speaking of snake medicine. The butterfly goes through a metamorphosis. It goes through the change. First it's the caterpillar. Then it goes into the chrysalis. And then it emerges. It's instinct. And we all know what that symbolizes. And the most difficult part is that in-between stage when we're in that chrysalis. When we had to let go of everything that was comfortable, what was familiar. And we don't know where we're going to head. We trust that we have the tools, that we have the strength, that we have the wisdom. But sometimes we don't know, and we have to be okay with that. And butterfly medicine comes to also remind us that it's important to learn how to fly. It's important to soar with the change. It's important to embrace that, spread our wings, and shine. But we also have to remember that it's very imperative to learn how to land and how to balance. And sometimes when we get that freedom, when change comes and it brings us the freedom of something that we've never experienced before, it's exciting, it's exhilarating, and as it should be. And there's joy in that, if we can find the joy in that. But we have to balance that out. We don't want to go to the other extreme where we've created this change and now we're just letting go of everything that's familiar. Wisdom is something that will always serve us. But letting go of the way we do things sometimes, reinventing how we do certain things, can bring change. And so butterfly medicine is coming to all of us today, just to remind us that we hope that all change is going to feel as beautiful as what the change of the butterfly is. But some of us may be feeling comfortable as a caterpillar. And that's the beauty of the journey, is that because we have change, we're not forced into the same experience over and over again. once we embody what the change has brought, if it doesn't change us in some way, the old saying is, was it really worth it? And some of us are going to have very profound changes, whether it's a weight loss journey, or going to school and learning a new vocation, or maybe we're having children and starting a family. Maybe we're getting our first car, going on our first trip, getting on a plane for the first time. Or maybe it's change of family dynamics. Maybe there's a divorce. Or maybe someone we love is crossing over. Whether it's a change that comes fast and is very difficult, or it's a change that we incite to feel a difference, to feel better. The most important part of all of this is that no matter what the change is that comes into our lives, that once we embrace that, and we allow the transformation without fighting it, even if the change feels painful in that moment, that we understand that every single part of our life is transforming. Every day that we go to sleep, we just trust we're going to wake up the next morning and it's a new day. We're not reliving anything from the day before, if we so choose. Certain things, yes, of course. We're going to hopefully wake up in our bed we fell asleep in. And whatever, if we have a job that we go to or an appointment we need to keep. But the change comes from within. We may be going to the same job each day, but how we handle each situation throughout the day is up to us. And that is where the more we practice changing, bringing the change ourselves, the more we learn to land with the wings, the more stability we create in our lives, the more joy we have in our lives, because we recognize that we're an integral part of this. Sometimes we're going to have the butterfly tower moment. I'm going to say, oh no, I didn't want to change. I had a crash with my car and now I'm going to be taking the bus. But if we can find something in that, maybe the relief of not being stressed out in traffic, even if it's something simple, we embrace the change until otherwise, then we're learning the balance of the wings. We're learning to fly and we're learning to land. And the best part is the beauty we find from taking the higher perspective. When we go through any change, if we call on our ancestors, if we're open to the messages and the guidance, and we allow ourselves to be walked through that process, we are not being weak. We're not just sitting back and having things happen to us. That is that moment when we recognize that, hey, things happen for us, not to us. And we've heard that saying many times. As soon as we change that perspective, the butterfly realizes when it changes from the caterpillar and goes to the chrysalis, that something innate needs to transform. And it surrenders to this. And I'm very sure all of us have seen the fluttering of the butterflies. That's joy. And at the very least, if we go through a change that could be very difficult, when we get to the other side of it, now we have wisdom. Now we have more tools in our bucket or our toolbox. Now we've embraced the most beautiful part of the journey of life. And we'll start to recognize how it always changes all around us and how much we've changed. That's a beautiful moment too. The butterfly invites us to have a little retrospect and think about how far we've come. We can be very present, but understand how we got there. They're reminding me it's like the beauty of astronomy. When I'm looking through the telescope and I'm looking at Andromeda, that's millions of light years away. I'm seeing light that left millions of years ago. So I'm looking into the past in the present moment. And Butterfly can help us do that. So we can recognize the transformation and say, I'm still good. I'm still me. I haven't lost any part of me. I just learned to flow. And so it's the ancestors and the butterflies are pulling their energy back. Thank you for allowing me to bring this message. Change is an exciting thing when we've incited it ourselves, when we said, all right, it's time for a move, or that new hairdo, maybe a makeover, whether it's even a room that we're redoing. And then change is interesting when it's a challenge and we haven't consciously brought that into our space. But no matter what that change is, drastic, subtle, whether we feel blindsided by the change, remember that we've got this far and we are going to be okay. Reach out for that support and know that there are opportunities always in the beautiful gift of change and transformation. Much love. Thank you.